The idea is this, is that our capacity to be aware is the fundamental vehicle that allows us to change. It is very difficult for us to change what we're not aware of. So what embodiment really is body awareness. It is to the physical structure as mindfulness is to thought process. So in the past, we've often called this bodyfulness, which is a very awkward phrase. So instead, we just say to become embodied. But to become embodied is to become aware of your physical structure. And then to begin to perceive the world and interact as if you had a body. And that body is the container and the vehicle that your mind and your spirit are traveling in. The idea fundamentally is that mind and body are inseparable, that they're mutually interactive, mutually influential. So continually the body is informing the mind. The body gives form to the mind's story. This phrase came to me a few years ago as an explanation of, and maybe it was even in a class, an explanation of the basis of why somatic psychotherapy is valuable. The physical structure gives form. That's what physical structures do. Just like this house gives form, or this building gives form to a meeting space where we can interact. So the body gives form to the mind's story, and conversely then, the mind is informed about the world through the five senses. What this means is that when we come to the idea of changing something, which is what psychotherapy is really about, it's about changing the mind's story, changing the story that we identify with and operate from. That when we come to that task, that we can either enter that by accessing and changing the beliefs that a person organizes around, or we can start to change the physical structure. It will automatically affect the story and the beliefs and the capacity this person deals with cognitively and intellectually. And the example I give is, and this is what I say to my clients, and I'm repeating myself a lot, is if you ever want to test this, just walk around in flexion for a while. This is flexion, this is extension. So if you walk around in flexion for any length of time, you're going to start feeling either sad or depressed or the blues or something like that. The reason for that is you're taking the form of that. You're taking the form of some kind of depressive or sad or heavy emotional state. If you take the form of something, you will soon begin to feel that something. Right? So, are there any questions about that, the basic premise there? I mean, I've said this Friday night and then numerous times yesterday. It's actually a very profound realization, because what we can do is we can bypass a lot of the labyrinths of the mind that are dealt with in every psychotherapist's office across this country. We can avoid a lot of that by going directly to the form, the structural part of that phenomenon called you. So, are there questions about that, or comments or thoughts about that? This idea that we can enter into a psychological process from a body perspective.